Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading room. 1 second here. I will get the screen share happening. All right. I see there's a couple of new names in the room here this morning. Welcome. Let me take just a moment and go over what it is you're looking at here. So I've got the complete diversified trading system along with the Raptors. So here in the top left, I have the Hawk Micro Scalper. Top right is the Falcon Swing Trader. Bottom left is the Eagle Trend Trader. And the bottom right is the Raptor. The markets I'm watching on this particular monitor are the NASDAQ. I do have a couple other markets up on my other monitor, namely the Russell and the E-mini, but please don't be shy about requesting markets. I have had a little problem with my data feed since a couple of months back, but if I can pull up the market, I will most definitely do that for you. Otherwise, I need to make another phone call, get that squared away. All right, well, here we are, Thursday, yesterday. The market kind of stagnant. Just taking a look here at the Eagle, we saw some good ranges after that big rally up in the morning, that incredible rally up in the morning, really. After that, we just kind of kept going sideways for most of the session. There were still a couple of moves here. Not maybe so easy to pick up on the Eagle, but certainly easier to grab on one of the other tools. The market closing around the 76.60 area, the overnight falling off somewhat, and now we are here off of the open. So it's looking like we're trying to recover into that relatively small opening gap. All right, I got a request here from Antonio for a Forex chart on the Raptor, and I thought you might be asking for that. Okay, give me just a minute here, and I'm going to set one up for you. Okay. All right, here is the Euro US dollar pair. And what I've done is I've reworked the brick size here a little bit. So I have a larger brick size. With the Forex markets, I also actually like to watch some volume. So you can see I have a little bit of a volume chart on here. This is just standard. That's not part of the Raptor system. In fact, let me take that off so it's not confusing to you. This is from I have built myself a little template for the Forex charts. There we go. Okay. Come on. All right. Oh. Okay. Let me. First things first. Okay, sorry. Okay, so most of the times, most markets, the default values will work just fine. Occasionally, however, we need to tweak our values a little bit. Here with the Euro US dollar pair, I've actually increased the brick size from the default, only because the Euro US pair, the market seems to unfold a little bit faster. Now, you don't need to make them larger. You can go with the default sizes. That is one nice thing about the Raptor, is that it gives you the ability to adjust brick sizes. Here with the Eagle, the Falcon, and the Hawk, that programming is pretty much locked. You're not going to change those. You can change your brick size, but here on the Raptor, there's a lot more things that you can change. Okay, so let's take a look here. We'll look at the native session because that obviously will be more active than the North American session for the Euro US dollar pair. The London Open, very important. So you can see here we are just coming into the London Open, the market a little bit sideways. And about an hour in, I guess about an hour into the session, we ended up producing a very clean number 1 signal. We had some nice continuation signals here. Actually, these number 3 signals, those are the hard edge bounces. So actually, I guess before I get into all that, I should explain what you're looking at here on the Raptor. So the Raptor is a hybrid. It's a hybrid of the other 3 systems combined into one. So it's going to employ elements of the Hawk Scalper, the Falcon Swing Trader, and the Eagle Trend Trader all into one trading system. You can see we've got these bands here on the Raptor, and these bands are borrowed from the Eagle Trend Trader. What they do is they give us our directional bias. So this edge here is what we refer to as the soft edge. This bright edge or edges are what we refer to as the hard edge. When the soft edge is stacked below the hard edge, we consider the market to be bearish, and we're going to be looking for sell signals. The sell signals come in 2 types. We have the high probability signal, which will print with a signal prompt. And then we have the discretionary signal. The difference is the high probability signal meets a particular setup that tends to be very reliable. The discretionary signal still tells us that all the signal parameters are met. However, it does not qualify as one of our high probability signals. There's about 6 elements that have to be met before the system even produces a warning dot. So the warning dot is what you see happening right here. So we get a warning dot along with an audio alert. This tells us that our signal parameters are starting to be met. When all the signal parameters are met, we're going to get a triangle and a hash mark, and that tells us that it's decision time. So as far as the programming is concerned, all the requirements to generate a signal have been met when we get the triangle and the hash mark. These discretionary signals are here because, well, sometimes the market is trending really well and it may not pull back far enough to qualify for one of our continuation signals. That's the number 3 signal here. So these discretionary signals are just that. They give you another opportunity to get into the marketplace if you deem that the trend is particularly strong. And usually that's fairly easy to spot because the bars are unfolding so quickly. The number 1 signal, the cloud crossover signal, occurs or tends to occur near the beginning of a trend. This is a signal that tries to pick up early momentum. So the market is out of sync as it is here, and then it comes into sync, and the number 1 signal will print, suggesting that, hey, pay attention, there may be a new trend developing here. The number 3 signal is a continuation signal. So when you get a continuation signal, the first thing you need to do is look left and make sure you have a trend to continue. In this case, it looks like we have a reasonable downtrend. Here's a pullback into the hard edge. Whenever the market hits the hard edge of either trading band, we always anticipate a reaction. It's just what the market does. The trading bands are very strong in that respect. Pardon me. So we anticipate some sort of reaction when we hit the trading band, and the market comes up, produces another signal, as you can see, and that signal actually qualified as the number 3 signal. The number 2 signal is a counter trend signal. We should have actually put these in the opposite order, but meaning the number 2 should have been the continuation and the number 3 should have been the counter trend, but whatever. So the number 2 signal is a counter trend signal. And once again, when you get a counter trend, you need to look left and make sure first you have a trend to reverse on. Because what you'll find is if the market is stuck in a sideways trading range, as we were a few days ago, you will print some signals and there won't be very much follow through from them. The dead giveaway is you're going to get a whole lot of what I call candy striping or barber striping, where you get all these background highlights and you can just visually see that the market is set in a sideways trading range. Context is still important. You still need to consider context. So just looking at the context of this chart, we have a downtrend. The market is hesitating. It comes up a little bit, hesitates, comes back down, kind of breaches the low and snaps back. Well, that looks like not a half bad counter trend opportunity. So you can set up to take that trade, and it looks like we would have at least reached our high probability profit objective before the market comes back and once again tries to resume the trend. Now look what's happening here as we start to get this back and forth. We're starting to get just that sideways context that I was talking about. So here we come back with now another number 1 signal. We get the breakout, we get the retest. So here's one of these opportunities where the number 1 signal was inside this trading range, but the discretionary signal actually gave us the better opportunity. So the system always will give you enough opportunities to get into a trade. So here we are with the sideways trading range. We get the breakout, we get the retest, and this is actually the better signal suggesting, hey, maybe it's time to take a look at shorting the market again. And it looks like that had some decent follow through to it. All right, and so where did we go from there? Oh, it looks like it was a very nice trend all through the evening. And here we are coming back with yet another counter trend signal. So when we get these counter trend signals, the hard edge is normally the target. And it looks like we're following up with a continuation signal. And then from here, where are we now as of the North American Open? See here, this is the candy striping that I refer to, where we just get all this back and forth, very little follow through. And so this should be telling you the market is in the sideways range, and what I tend to do with the sideways range is, or what I tell people to do, I don't always do it myself, is we let the market break out and then prove to us it can stay out. So we look for that retest after the breakout, and here once again one of these discretionary signals that we could capitalize on. Antonio is asking, will the Raptor work on Ninja 8? Yes, it will. I'm embarrassed to say it because the programming for the trade manager, that's the software you see here on the right, was supposed to be ready early September, and here we are pushing end of September, and the programmers have not worked out the glitch yet. We will have a Ninja 8 trade manager available before the end of the year. I can guarantee you that, or I'm going to be skinning a programmer. But right now, yes, the signal generation itself, everything else you see works. The trade manager, however, if you're looking to use the trade manager, which is a tool that helps contain your risk. And I think I need to change some of my settings here. Hold on a sec. Yes, I do. Okay, so essentially what the trade manager does is it has two components here. It has the risk percent mode, and then it has the manual mode, which allows you to preset your order quantity. Right now you can see it's set at 1 because this is kind of set up for futures and not lot sizes as what you would have in the Forex market. But the risk percent mode works very well. And what I can do is I can dial it down to whatever percentage of my trading capital I want to use. And then when I go to set my stops, notice that the risk amount will not change. So here I'm risking approximately $200 and I've got 274 lots. If I risk the trade down here, oh, I still have $200, but I'm trading 160 lots. So what it does is it keeps you from over leveraging yourself while still maximizing your profitability given your capital allotments. You'll see how it works here as we use it, but it's a very, very sophisticated piece of software. Unfortunately for us, when they NinjaTrader redid Ninja 8, they built it from the ground up. It wasn't just a tweaked version of Ninja 7. It was a complete rebuild, which meant that we had to rebuild all our software as well. Now, for the most part, that wasn't a big deal, but the trade manager, this is the kind of stuff you usually only see with professional trading firms. This is perhaps the best piece of money management software available to the retail trader. And unfortunately, right now it only works on Ninja 7. But to my way of thinking, this trade manager makes it worthwhile to stay with Ninja 7. That's just me. I know I get emails all the time from people saying, "Oh, I hate Ninja 7. When are you going to make available trade manager for Ninja 8?" Well, we're working on it, believe me. And we're working on a plan B as well. All right, so there was the euro US dollar pair. Yeah, no problem, Antonio. Antonio says thank you. If there's another pair you want to see, I've got most of the major pairs handy. One thing too with for those of you trading Forex, you might want to consider even following the futures market, because the thing with Forex that a lot of people don't know is the Forex prices very often are an estimate. Sometime, depending on your data provider, if you can compare two Forex charts and they'll look slightly different because one may be tracking the bid price, one may be tracking the ask price, and one may be tracking just the average of the two. For that reason, some Forex traders will be watching the futures because the futures price will be the exact price that is traded. So rather than watch the Euro US dollar pair, you can trade the Euro US pair, but a lot of Forex traders will watch the 6E. That's the futures version of the Euro. The 6B being the British pound, the 6J being the yen. And those charts will be accurate for any time you're pairing with the US dollar. But just a little fun fact there for you. All right, back here now to the NASDAQ, and what do we got? We saw a quick little flurry up, and then the market heading lower. Interestingly enough, here is our first in-sync eagle signal, and I think that is the first signal this week not to work out. I don't think we got to our profit objective on that one. No, we didn't. I can tell already. Depending how quick you were with your stops, certainly at this point here, coming into the hard edge, I would consider doing something with my stops. But even if you didn't, well, you got tagged out, but at least your risk was capped at 2%. So even though the signal failed, even if you did not adjust your stops and you took the hit, you can take a little solace in the fact that you did not lose more than you can afford. And that is a very important concept, one that most traders never get a handle on. And then they wonder why it's so hard to make money trading. From here, however, it looks as though we're a little bit more bearish on the morning, getting a little bit of a pullback now into the hard edge. But so far, the market's a little reluctant. Well, it's still early. We'll stay with them a little bit longer here. Fridays can be like this, though. Fridays, either the market comes out like gangbusters, or they just kind of go bleh. Let's take a look while we're waiting. Sometimes it's helpful to have another perspective. Here now, the daily NASDAQ chart. Oh, and I can see right away why things are starting to stagnate a little bit, and that's because we're getting really close to the contract highs. And if you take yesterday's high into consideration, we get this pretty little wedge going on. And here's today's activity so far. You can see very, very quiet. Stephen talking football. He says, what about my Rams last night? 55 yards of offense. Wow. Yeah, we were in the pub last night. I did see some of the football game. Oh yeah, sorry, 555 yards. Yes, sorry. What did I say? 55 yards? Yes, 555 yards. All right. Well, we are producing a couple of signals here now. It looks like we're going to get a first micro macro cross signal here on the Hawk scalper. That tends to be a pretty good signal. The Falcon swing trader also coming across with a trend change, and the Eagle also coming off with a hard edge bounce signal. Here on the Raptor, you can see we've produced several hard edge bounce signals, number 3 signals, a plethora of number 3 signals. You know, it's probably not a bad opportunity. I think what I would do, however, is I would take advantage of the second push entry, namely, that's when we allow the signal to engage. We see where the market reacts. It usually reacts within a couple, 3 bars. And then we use that bar as our entry bar. The hash mark is always just a suggested entry. You don't have to enter on the hash mark. So once again, it kind of goes back to context. If the market's looking like, hey, we could be in a little bit of a sideways skid, then go ahead, adjust your entry accordingly. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten that up just a hair. So if we come back now with yet another hard edge bounce, this signal here is going to be the soft edge buy. That's the number 2 signal, the counter trend signal. So we almost have the market in, again, in a trading range. We could even do an OCO order. I got tagged a couple times on my OCO orders the other week, but let's try it again. So I'll turn the OCO on. That stands for one cancels other. Now to place your OCO order, you're going to have to right click on your chart. We're not going to use the trade manager for that. And we're going to right click here. And these orders are live when you put them on, so you can adjust them. Antonio asks, if I purchase the Raptor, do you have videos explaining in detail how the software works and what every signal means? Short answer, yes. The longer answer is that, well, there is no long answer. Yes, there are videos. They're trading room videos. But you can ask me as many times as you need to, and I will even make you a little custom video if required, if you're having difficulty understanding one of the signals or how the signal's set up. But yes, we go through all the signals, we explain the signals, how they work. While I'm talking here, I should get a stop in play. But that's why we say our trading room is a trading / training room, because hopefully I can show you some good trades. I know a few people in the room like to piggyback my trades, but the main purpose of the room is to make you comfortable with your tools. so that you can trade independently. As one of our room members so eloquently put it, "Hey Eric, I like you, but heaven forbid you get hit by a bus, then what do I do?" I thought that was very touching. All right, so my OCO came back, tagged me on the break even, but we've got a nice little trading range that we broke out of, remember? So now here we've got the retest, which is ideal, or I think it's ideal. And we could be coming back now with a number one signal. We've already got the warning dot, so we're going to anticipate the number one signal that suggests that perhaps a new trend is in development. Could be a little dodgy though, because I think this is also where the sellers kind of kicked in. So somewhere here around the 76.45, it looks like they got a little constipated, and we're actually just below that level right now. Oh, look at that. We haven't printed the signal yet. We're still stuck on the warning dot. Once again, the warning dot, along with the audio alerts, if you have them turned on, will print when half the signal parameters have been met. And then when all the signal parameters are met, you get the triangle and hash mark. And in the case of one of our high probability signals, you'll also get the signal prompt. Now, because the market's kind of trading in this really broad range, and it's going to make it impossible for me to afford that. I could do a second push entry. So the signal's already printed. I see where the reversal bar is. See, ideally my stop should go down here to start. Ideally, we want our stops probably 2 swings back. I've mentioned this before, that the market will have a tendency, see what traders do very often is they tend to strangle their trades. And they'll throw their stops right there, or worse, they'll put it right above the signal bar and they'll say, "Oh, I'll put my stops right there." And then what happens is, well, okay, in this case, you hit your profit target anyway, but very often what will happen is the market will come back, tag you out, and then go on without you, right? That's not what we want. So to prevent that, a simple rule of thumb is if you keep your stop 2 swings back, so there's swing 1, here's swing 2, somewhere around here. What will happen is if the market tries to pull against you, it will challenge the first swing. Whether it breaks above or comes up short or hits it right on the number is inconsequential, but just knowing that it's going to challenge that first swing point means you need to keep your stops further away than that. Chances that it will try to take out 2 swings are very rare indeed, or at least take out 2 swings before you have the chance to do something with your stops. So here, pretending for a moment we didn't hit our profit objective, and I know this looks terribly lopsided to you new people in the room, but what we're doing is we are working the probabilities. Forget all this stuff you've heard about risk reward ratios and stuff. That works really well on paper. It does not work so good in real life. I will show you the proper way to do risk reward, the way the professional traders do it. And it is not at all the way that you have been taught via the latest internet guru type, of which I try not to put myself in the same category. All right. But when you get this second swing going on, you've seen the challenge of the resistance area, you get the second swing. Well, now you can do something with your stops, right? Now you can bring your stops down. So while your initial risk may have been $300, now you've brought your risk down to about 100. So if the initial risk was 2% of your capital, now you've only got certainly less than 1% of your trading capital at risk. And you're not going to blow up your account risking 0.75% or 1% of your trading capital. And what it also does is it holds you in the trade long enough for the market to come down and find your profit objective. Your high probability profit target. Oh, Steve, you're so sentimental here. Steve writes, if something were happen to you, it's the same I tell my wife if something would happen to her. I would go out with the kids, have a piece of pie, and then move on. Oh, I'm touched, Steve. All right, well, here we are. We getting a little bit of a pushback. And again, that's not to be totally unexpected because this is where the sellers kind of beat up on the buyers out of the gate. And we're sitting just below our primary support zone. So the market has a slightly bearish flavor on it. Okay, well, we'll wait it out a little bit longer. The eagle here has gotten a little bit more bullish. As you can see, the band flipping over on the eagle. But here too, that sideways trading range just kind of shouting at you. So any trade we try within this range is going to be a little bit tricky because remember, with sideways ranges, the sellers are normally up here, the buyers are usually down here. So we try to avoid buying into this range and we try to avoid selling into this range. Okay, coming back into the hard edge now. Both here on the Eagle and the Raptor. Wonder if I should try this short signal. It's not the most appealing signal, but the Geiger counter here is red. It's kind of suggesting we've got a little bit of selling going on. Let's see if I can get a second push on this signal. If I can get the bar to retreat and actually show me the current limit of the market, I may try to short it. See if the market goes back down toward the low of the morning. Now, of course, we've gone a little bit too far. Had I taken the signal on the hash mark, I would be at my profit objective. All right, so here now that reaction to the hard edge. Yeah, the Hawk and the Falcon still already fairly bearish. I don't like it when the tools are out of sync like this. It makes things, well, it just kind of tells you the market's undecided. It's in balance. A little bit of a slow moving day though for Friday. Well, still kind of in this sideways mess. There's not much going on anywhere. Just even looking at my other charts, the market very content just to be moving sideways here this morning. Oh yeah, Mickey. Yes, thanks for reminding me. I forgot to point this out. Scott will be very pleased. We now have a band counter. Now, I don't know if Ben has put this up on the website just yet. This is just kind of like a beta version. But what it's doing is it's tracking the width of the band. So from the soft edge to the hard edge. And let me see what the parameters on that are. Where did he put it? Probably at the bottom. Nope. I haven't even had a chance to. Oh, here we go. Band counter. He said there was a setting for it, or maybe I misunderstood. At any rate, there we go. Ta-da! Finally have a band counter. The idea behind the band counter. Oh, yeah, Scott's asking on the Eagle. You're always having to ask for something extra. I'm sure we can put one on the Eagle as well. The idea behind the band counter is that once the band becomes very, very broad, it will be more prone to a reversal signal. So if we have a broad band and then we print a number 2 signal or a series of number 2 signals, it will be more likely to see the market head higher from there. By the way, if you didn't know this already, if you're looking at your tools, say you like your Geiger counter, and your bars are printing over your tools, and you want to know how in the world can I get those tools to the forefront? If you click on the instrument of choice, so here, I'll bring the bars forward. So I'm going to click on the bars, hold your shift key, and then if you have a mouse with a wheel, roll the wheel, you'll see there's actually 9, come back here. You'll see there's actually 9 levels on this chart. 9 overlays. So you just scroll the wheel until you get it to the forefront. So here with the Geiger counter, I click on the Geiger counter, hold my shift key, and I bring it up to level 1. And that will always make it sit on top of whatever is there. Okay, we're getting a little bit of a pushback again. Still very, very neutral. And I I don't know if the clouds cross back here in the bullish state, I may consider, I might consider a buy. It's tough because the market's just so sideways. It's really difficult to try to get a handle on which way it wants to go from here. Glancing back at the euro US dollar pair, there's not much going on there either. So it's market's very quiet today. And you can tell by the trading band as well. You can just see how flat we are. Pretty much twisting up like a rope. Very non-committal. Okay, well, our band's starting to get slightly more bullish. Oh, and there's the number one signal. Okay, so I'm just going to buy into that with a single. And what I will do is I will bring my stops back down here toward the low of the morning. And I'm taking a chance on this trade. We're still inside the sideways trading range. Not the spot you want to be buying. Oh, look at that. And you'll see now why you shouldn't be buying inside a trading range. This is always the danger when you get bored and you take a trade out of boredom. All right, so you can see here it's actually a pretty good example why initially you should start with your stops a little bit deeper. So now that we've got that first swing right here, I can adjust my stops ever so slightly. Okay, here now come the buyers. Come on, get up there. What I'll do, because we don't have anything going on here this morning, I will try to run this one out. And for the benefit of the new people in the trading room, I'm going to demonstrate how the trade manager rolls stops, but not until I can get a little bit more elbow room. If we can get the other side of this 76.45 zone, we've got some room to move. You can see we've got a resistance line here at just below 76.50, sitting at 76.49. That could be a little bit of a stumbling block. Come on, get up there. There we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to enable my stop strategy, my ATR strategy. And once I click enabled, the trade manager will automatically pick up my stops and move them according to those blue dots. Oh, come on, don't look back right now. I might have to pull it back here for a second still. They may not be ready. Little flinch before 76.45-ish. Would they have tagged me? No, but they would have got close. All right, let's try this again. Come on, get up there. All right, so I'll enable my stops. And now hopefully we'll get above here and you'll see how the trade manager will automatically start rolling your stops. Nice thing about the trade manager is we have all these different stop strategies to choose from, and they're all fully customizable, so you can adjust them however you like. If you want them to be more aggressive or less aggressive. Come on, just get over that hurdle. All right, here we go. I'm gonna have to take my mouse and push the market up. Come on, get going this way. makes me a little uncomfortable having my stops this cozy to the trade. I usually like to give the trade a little bit more room, but for the sake of demonstration, and they're not really allowing me to demo how it rolls the stops just yet. Here we go. Maybe we'll get that push through now. So if we see a break here above 76.45 and certainly above this swing high here, like I said, the market does have some room. In fact, I may even look to take it here to the median line, which is the next line on the support and resistance suite. And that would definitely be a home run trade. And now my trade is essentially on autopilot. Oh, actually 76, I figured 76.49 is going to be a little bit of a stumbling block. So I'll throw my break-even trigger in just before there. Oh, man. You can do it. I'm also tempted to manually force the trade to break even, but that'd mean I'd have to look to re-enter. No, they're not going to give it to me. Where's Tony when I need him? You can get in there and buy his 10,000 contracts, push the market up a bit. No, I thought maybe we'd get. Oh, Tony, you are in the room. Tony says Tony is a chicken. No, we're still stuck in the sideways range here. You can see now we're getting the counter trend signal. I don't think. Well, I'm not out of the trade yet, but it's honestly not looking very promising. The fact that we keep bouncing off of this whole 76, 44, 45, 46 zone, you just know there's, you know, a little resistance zone right there. Okay, well, here comes the number 3 signal. That's the hard edge bounce. One of our high probability signals here for the Raptor. Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, the Eagle, a little congested. We did get a late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. That's a pretty strong signal. So that occurs when your filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync. Your trend line, however, never changes color. We got a couple in a row here, which is a little unusual. Yeah, the problem for this trade is stop placement. Right, having my stop where I have it is just too tight. The ideal stop, believe it or not, is still back here. And then on the next push up, then you can look at rolling your stops in somewhat. I don't think they're going to give it to me. But here too, you know, while my initial stop was down here, now it's already brought up to here. So my, you know, my initial risk is merely a safety net, nothing more. Well, unfortunately, it looks like this particular Friday, everybody's already taken off. I know the weather's supposed to be nice here this weekend, which I'm looking forward to. All right, come on. Okay, well, we just hit the break-even trigger. Stops rolling up nicely. We would have hit the high probability profit objective had I left it there, but I'm looking for a little bit more here. Okay, we hit the 76.49, 76.50 zone, back at the high du jour. And let's see if we can ride out this swing. In which case, the median line, that's that gold line right there, definitely comes into play. So far, the ATR doing a nice job of keeping me in this trade. As we get up here and as the profit increases somewhat, I'll probably move into a more aggressive stop strategy, maybe the bar high low. Get that ready, maybe the parabolics. Nope, wouldn't give me the swing. That's all right. It's a good little trade anyway. Waited for it long enough, but that's okay. Nicely done, Mark. Mark says, finally. He says, I waited all morning for that late filter entry signal, and it did not disappoint. Yeah, I guess the morning was pretty sideways, wasn't it? Yeah, there was one early here, but you probably avoided it because the trend line was a little steep. Yes, this particular Friday does seem a little on the quiet side. Well, gang, I don't know how much more we're going to see here this morning. Um, we really haven't gone very far today. If we take a look again at the daily, you can see there's our day today. Haven't really moved higher or lower. I would not be surprised to see the day finish very close to where we are right now, just this tiny little sideways range. If anybody has any questions, though, please ask away. Otherwise, we may consider ducking out a little bit early. Because I think we might have to, I don't know, I was going to say we might have to see a little bit more of a pullback, maybe. It's hard to tell at this point. Well, thank you for asking, Mark. Mark's asking, got anything fun planned for the weekend? We're actually going to go down into Victoria and look after our grandson for the weekend. Mom's off for the weekend, out of town for a bit. So, yeah, we're going to hang out with him. Come Monday morning, I will be exhausted. It's nice because he's at that age, he's still excited to see us. You know, the friends haven't taken over yet. It's still cool to hang out with us. So, of course, he's going to want to, he's got a laser tag game and those Nerf guns. So, we're going to be shooting at each other all weekend with laser tag and Nerf bullets. And he never tires of it. Oh, man. Yeah, yeah. Mark says, cool. Always fun to see the grandkids. Nice that you can go home when you've had enough too. Yeah, it'll be a marathon this weekend. It'll be all right if we can get together with some of his school friends or something, because they'll play each other out. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right, everyone. I think we'll just button up shop here a little bit early today. If you are going to hang out and trade today, well, we've got the big sideways trading range to deal with. We're now at the top end of this trading range where we started. Right, there we are right there. And as I mentioned before, this is where the sellers are hanging out. This is where the buyers are hanging out. I would guess if I had to, you know, choose, I would be more bullish on the market at this point. But you're still going to be better off waiting for the market to break out, look for that retest, and then look for that buy signal. This is regardless of the tools that you're using. Likewise, if you get a move lower here. Now, of course, if you get a breakout and the breakout fails, you get that retest and it just keeps going. Stop it. And it just keeps going lower, then you can forget the buy opportunity and just look to short, because chances are the market's going to at least get back toward the middle of this trading range and maybe even toward the bottom. But honestly, at this point, I think I would be more bullish. All right, everyone. I hope you have an enjoyable weekend. I will see you again on Monday. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.